Thank you, President Jeff. As we've discovered during the networking before the meeting, there's a whole lot of people that showed up to hear our speaker today. And it's evidence of his broad reach into the community and involvement in so many different positive things going on. So our speaker today is Clifford Clark. He's here to talk to us about the Fort Wayne Black Chamber of Commerce, where he serves as president of their board. The Black Chamber is part of a collaboration that includes the Fort Wayne, uh, Greater Fort Wayne Hispanic Chamber, Greater Fort Wayne Inc., New Allen Alliance, that together have launched some initiatives to increase the community's diversity, equity, and inclusion. Professionally, Clifford is president of C2 IT Advisors. It's a strategic information technology advisory firm. It provides consulting services for strategic planning, project management, policy development, and broadband deployment. Um, Clifford holds both an MBA with concentrations in human resources, management, and entrepreneurship, and a Bachelor of Science degree in data processing from Indiana Institute of Technology. And he is currently pursuing a PhD there in global leadership. Some of you I know him when he was Chief Information Officer for Public Technology, or not as Ivy Tech Community College, and before that with the as a Chief Information Officer for the city of Fort Wayne. Anybody that's picked up the phone and dialed 311 to complain about garbage pickups has used at least one of the things he is well known for having initiated in our community. And without further ado, I'll let Clifford take it away. Clifford, it's all yours.
Hi, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and share out my screen and see that you guys can make sure and see all of this.
Got it.
Got it? It should be, there we go. All right. Well, and I want to just say thank you, John, for that very warm welcome. I'll just start off with that. I also will say that with the city of Fort Wayne and 311, I'll talk a little bit about my time at the city of Fort Wayne. There were so many great people that helped advance our city and position it for the things that we're currently doing today. There was just a lot of really, really good work that was done. And I think that, and then speaking to Rotarians, this is no strange thing, but everybody should have some time in public service, whether it's the Peace Corps or military or working for your city or something like that. I mean, the servant leadership side, just so that you can understand, I know that too many people complain about government and taxes and things of that nature, but you got some really hardworking people in government. So that's very, very important to note. I want to just thank everybody for showing up and coming out to listen to little old me talk for just a short period of time. I'm truly honored to be able to share a little bit about the Fort Wayne Black Chamber of Commerce. And I feel that these next couple of slides are probably not going to be of that much value because I know so many of you guys in the Downtown Rotarian Club, but I'm going to do it anyway, just to share a little bit about myself. And as John has already mentioned, I have an information technology firm, and that's the primary thing that it does. But some of you know me from other roles with that firm, particularly in the strategic planning space. I do the SWOT analysis of the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, the strategic planning. So it doesn't always have to be in the IT space, but we are an information technology advisory firm. We work with clients both here locally, here in Fort Wayne, Allen County, but also across the country, primarily from the Midwest East. That's easy to get to, particularly by a single plane ride, which is something that's really, really cool. Others might know me from, I also have another company called Paradise Incorporated. It's a professional disc jockey company. And basically with Paradise Incorporated, it's been 30 years in Allen County already. But I've been enjoying myself, meeting lots of great people, not only in Fort Wayne, but also in the state of Indiana and our neighboring states also. As mentioned, I'm pursuing my doctoral degree at this particular point in time at Indiana Institute of Technology, and it is a global leadership. And wow, the current events do in fact play into everything that we are going through, specifically as it relates to how we are looked at, how the United States is looked at from other countries across the globe. So it's just right on time. And my planned dissertation will have a focus in areas of diversity, equity, and inclusion. As was mentioned in my MBA studies, I've actually been doing this for a long time, but many people know me from the IT side. But I've been doing issues of diversity, equity, inclusion. It has, you know, a little bit of a slant or tangent off of my my HR background. And even though I don't spend a lot of time in the HR, I do keep an eye on that because it is something that's so very important. But most people kind of know me from community, and that's what on the prior slide was just I took that off of your own site there with the Fort Wayne landscape there, or cityscape. And we have a whole slew of different things, and I've been in this community for 30 years, and I've served on numerous boards at the senior level for a lot of these boards. One of my favorites, I have a couple of affinities, as you guys know. Leadership Fort Wayne, I had the opportunity to be on that board for quite some time and actually serve as board president. And I have a lot of friends from Leadership Fort Wayne. Obviously, some of them are around this table here today, and I stay close to that organization. Another strong affinity is Big Brothers Big Sisters, and I've again served as board president for Big Brothers Big Sisters. Of course, this is over a decade ago or so, but I feel that the work that I was able to do there helped lay the groundwork for the agency that it is right now. And Big Brothers Big Sisters in Allen County, much the same as you guys are saying that this is the best Rotarian Rotary chapter. Big Brothers Big Sisters here in Allen County is probably one of the best in the country, believe it or not, and covering areas up into Michigan and even touching into Western Ohio. So big thing there. For those of you who don't recognize that seal, that crest, and that's Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. So I am engaged in fraternity. We do a lot of things on leadership. A lot of times organizations or people know us from Voteless People is a Hopeless People and voter registration, but we also have programs like Go to College, Go to High School, Go to College, which encourages individuals to pursue higher education. So some other areas that I've served on, just I spent some time serving as the Chief Information Officer for the city of Fort Wayne, and that was absolutely wonderful. And again, 311 was but one of the things that we're able to do. And I know it didn't have the output that we really desired from within the city around the Mayor Richards cabinet. But the Public Safety Academy is another building I'm very proud of. I have my name on the little glass on the front on the side of the wall there, and so I'm very proud of the design of that building had at the time, and my contributions to that. But that's only that's only a small part of the contributions in regards to the city that I was just very proud of. We were able to upgrade the city's IT infrastructure significantly. And of course, on my way out, Parkview Field, even though I didn't spend a lot of time on the front end of that particular project, we did still play a part on the technology. So the Harrison project was something that was, again, really proud of. So some of the things that you may not know and some that are not here, I do also serve on the legislative committee for Greater Fort Wayne, Inc. So talking with our state legislators about the things that they're voting on are very important. I am a Fort Wayne graduate of the FBI Academy. So I usually stay involved in areas of law enforcement too. Probably not on the same level of the the FBI not toting a gun or anything else of that nature, but particularly on areas of cybercrime and just other type of racketeering and that kind of stuff, usually more in the IT space. And I would be remiss if I did not mention that I also serve on the board of Three Rivers Federal Credit Union, and I also am a director and the board of the Federal Home Loan Bank of Indianapolis. Again, these are things that most people don't know. I don't usually say too much about them. Tying in my aviation, my love for aviation, I am also a captain in the Civil Air Patrol in the Fort Wayne Composite Squadron. So even though I have to do a little extra work, I'm in the process of getting my qualifications back to actually fly. And we joke with the Civil Air Patrol as when the paperwork equals the weight of the airplane, then you're ready to go. So there's just a lot of paperwork to get done to be able to fly for Civil Air Patrol. But we do things like search and rescue. And just even the other day, it was mentioned that members of Civil Air Patrol was able to take some of the COVID test kits from one location to the next. We have a great network of rural airports in our country. That's one of the things that we often talk about, the freedom to fly. And that's something that the Civil Air Patrol can help out with. Again, search and rescue, downed equipment, natural disasters, and those types of things. So with that said, I'll get into the meat of it all, which is what we're here to learn about a little bit, is the Fort Wayne Black Chamber of Commerce. And so I wanted to just off by kind of giving you a sense of the Fort Wayne Black Chamber. And it was established in 2012. It's located right here in the city on the southeast side of town, East Paulding Road. We share a parking lot. In fact, it's the old building for the league. And most people know the League of the Blind. So it's just south of Paulding Road there off of Anthony. Basically, like a lot of other chambers, we are an advocacy agency for our members. So we try to advocate for the members of the chamber, which are generally Black owned, Black owners of businesses, but also other ethnicities of small and disadvantaged businesses. And then, of course, we have our corporate sponsors that kind of keep things going and making sure things keep working with the Fort Wayne Black Chamber of Commerce. So we do a variety of different programs, whether it be networking programs. We've done things on financial health. And so basically these are budgeting, planning, improving your credit score, those types of things. Oftentimes we do things on mental health. May is Mental Health Month. We usually try to do a program on that. We take care of access to capital issues. We do programs. We have a lot of great partners with local credit unions and banks here in town. We have quite a few of the credit unions that help support us in that aspect. And then also another fun-filled program, and I know you guys experienced Andy last month or last time you guys got together, and also understanding how local government works. You would be surprised, and I'm sure that Andy probably shared that with you, but a lot of people really don't understand how local government works. And I keep emphasizing local because all politics is local, right? If you want to get a street sign or a road paved or a problem taken care of, those are your local officials. Those are not your federal officials. So understanding how local government works is very, very important. And oftentimes for the population of Black and other minority ethnicities, that understanding is not that great. So helping them understand that is very important, especially when they want to figure out how they can fit in. So some of the other things that we've been doing is we also have done skilled labor training. We had a program, we're getting ready to relaunch it, that took individuals and helped them train up so that they can, potentially join a union or in the contracting trades, basically bricklaying, pipe fitting, construction, so on and so forth. With that, we also have an advocacy program for those contractors. I will honestly say it's not been as good as we want. We want to have more equity in the ability for contractors of a variety of a diverse ethnicity to have a chance to do work in our city, and we're still struggling to do that. thanks to Brad and others at the Community Foundation of Fort Wayne. Again, I have to give them a shout. They were able to help us move some things forward. And those things include our Black Business Directory, which we're still in development, but will be coming out here shortly. We're going to be doing a business survey to see how many folks actually shop with communities of color. So if you've ever, if you haven't had an opportunity to go into that little side shop, bodega, a little store, street market vendor or whatever, take a time to do that. I mean, we have had a really, really good example of the capabilities that can happen with young leaders in Northeast Indiana and the Bar Street Market. And those things can be a true lifeline to those businesses. And so we ask that, we're not going to stop shopping at Walmart and Home Depot and Lowe's and things of that nature, but spread the love around and help out a small business. So that's very important. And of course, with that, we are going to be launching also our new website. So those three, the Black Business Directory, the survey, and the new website, I have to give kudos and thanks to Brad for having the vision to help fund those pieces. And I look forward to delivering on that. With that said, we have some partnerships, some MOUs that we've put in place. Now, we've always had a strong relationship with Greater Fort Wayne, Inc. We have kind of a reciprocal agreement. We attend their stuff, they attend our stuff wherever possible, particularly our annual meetings and stuff like that. But we're also working with Club 720, the Fort Wayne Urban League, Northeast Indiana Innovation Center, the SEED program from the city, SCORE, and also Start Fort Wayne. And a lot of this is coming out of, there's two things that's happening at the same time. One of it is the social injustice that we saw elevate in early part of 2020. And, more people wanting to do the right thing, which is something I'll talk about here in a bit. And so there's been more of a focus on communities of color, which is really where it needs to be. I've always said, and this is not mine to claim, but somebody else said it, rising tides raises all boats. Any community is only as good as the least of us. These are things that we should always be considering in our public service and how we navigate our world. Additionally, some other things that are happening. Oh, and I want to just back up and talk about the 720 Club. Again, the 720 Club and the Urban League and the NIC all have programs with help moving people through the different challenges that they have. The 720 and the Fort Wayne Urban League have these processes to help people get to a 700 or better credit score. And we know that with a 700 or better credit score, you get a better rate on just about any borrowing that you need to do. And this will probably be a sidebar, because if you get me started on this, I won't get through the rest of my slides. But access to capital, particularly for people of color, but there's a poor tax, and I think many people know that. I know John knows this because John Pierce knows this because of the work that he does with United Way and such. But transportation costs extra because they're usually because they don't have a good credit score. They can't go to the Tom Kellys of the world and buy a car with the 0% interest or the 2% interest. They're going to go to the corner lot and they're going to spend, probably more than the car is worth. They're going to have an interest rate that's going to be higher, and they're not even going to get the reporting that they need. The quality of food in a lot of neighborhoods, if there's a food place at all, because there's usually a food desert in areas of poverty. I could just go on and on and on. And like I said, I don't want to derail us on that. And John could probably talk to it just as well as I could. We are, the Fort Wayne Black Chamber, we are in a mode of capacity building. It's an all volunteer organization. And when I say all, I mean all. So nobody gets paid, not me, not the staff, or anything else of that nature. So we are doing a capacity building process right now where we're asking some of our members to pay in advance their dues so that we can get some office help to do some of the administrative stuff that we need to do. The membership The link is there for anybody who wants to copy it down. But individual members are $100, businesses of less than 50 are $200, and then if you're a business that have more than 50 employees, it's a little bit more at the $500 level. Sharing a little bit about who's on that board. My name's not in there, and I always keep forgetting to put it in there, but I am the board chair, the board president, excuse me. And our board of directors, we have a board emeritus and John Dortch. I think many of you know from this community know John. He's a really great guy, and he's done a lot for this community. William Muhammad is our secretary, so handling all of the general mail in and out. Linda Golden is a local developer here in town, and she's our vice president. She's my vice president, and she's in charge of operations. Kanisha Williams is in charge of membership. Ramadan Abdulaziz is finance, and Larry King from First Source Bank is in marketing. And they each have committees after that to kind of help out with that. Where are we going? Where's the Fort Wayne Black Chamber of Commerce going? Well, we're trying to build our membership up. In regards to members, we're not deep like Greater Fort Wayne Inc., which I think has over 400 members. I can't remember. That was at one time. I think it's a lot higher than it is now. We're still under 100. It's sometimes challenging to help people who are not familiar with the processes of a chamber understand what a chamber does and how a chamber can work for them. But we are in the process of trying to grow our membership. We're still sub 100. We do also work with other local chambers as I'm nationally, other minority chambers nationally. We are looking to start our build program. That name might change because we have other organizations using that term, and we don't want to get it confused, but returning to the process of helping people get into the construction trades, maybe join a union, have a living wage through the work that they do. We know that that's all very, very important. And also through whether it's the Build or Seed or Start Fort Wayne or SCORE or all the other partners, the NIC and that we're working with, what we love to see is to turn more and more into entrepreneurs, just from participants and then on into being entrepreneurs. So that's where we're headed. So with that, I wanted to pivot just slightly to issues of diversity and inclusion. And I thank Mitch. She sent me a quick shout out about the Fort Wayne's United Front Initiative, which we are a part of. I want to just give you a little bit of the backstory there. John tried to mention a little bit of it. So the local chambers had gotten together, and that includes the Hispanic Chamber, Greater Fort Wayne, the Greater Fort Wayne Inc., which is our main chamber, and the New Allen Alliance, as well as the Fort Wayne Black Chamber of Commerce. We all got together, particularly after the murder of George Floyd, and talked about issues of diversity and inclusion and how important it was to be seen as a community that is progressive. And I know that sometimes that word is like a third rail. Like I grew up in New York, so the third rail is an electrified rail. You touch it, you die. But we recognize as a chamber that people come to communities that they want to be in. And the proverbial race to the bottom to be the cheapest, lowest cost community isn't necessarily our idea of where we want to be. And diversity and inclusion is a very important piece of having a community that is really, really thriving. When we think of some of the things that have happened here of late in our community, positive things that happened of late, our downtown area, all the different things that you see going on and growing. I mean, those are the reasons why people want to come to a community, that it's diverse and energetic and everything else like that. And if you don't believe me, think about some of the most diverse communities, right? New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, and things like that. Now, they clearly have some problems, right, that we don't have. I mean, the tax rate in New York when I left, which was several decades ago, was already 8%. And I think it's a lot higher now. I think it's like 9 or 10% now on certain different things, depending on what you're doing. You know, LA has its issues, or housing, and Los Angeles, the California area, has its issues on housing and things of that nature. Yeah, but why? Why are people going there, right? You know, it's more than just the fact that the taxes are low, because if people were looking for low taxes, they would not be in those areas. And so we just encourage people to kind of take a look at issues of diversity and inclusion. And the two do truly go together. You know, you can be a diverse community, because I do think that Fort Wayne is a diverse community, but we still got a lot of work to do on the inclusion side of the coin. We have our pockets, we have our silos, and we kind of go off and do things in separate areas, and we really do need to change that. So we had gotten together and we started working on different things, and then we kind of connected with the United Front, which was also trying to do some things. Then we ended up partnering with the United Front, or partnering with Fort Wayne United, and we all created this United Front initiative. So with that, we have Dr. Lasambe coming to town on a regular basis. The next event will be January the 27th. In between then, we are also doing webinars. I did the last one, I think it was December 9, I can't remember the date. The next one is going to be February the 18th. We are also working to develop local diversity and inclusion teams to help out organizations navigate this space. And so those are just some of the different things that we're doing in the area of diversity and inclusion. And to be true to the HR side, you know, we're trying to brand it as diversity and inclusion because that's what a lot of people use. But we also say, you know, equity, diversity, inclusion, or you might hear diversity, equity, and inclusion. The equity part is also very important. So, you know, Faye started off when she did her part, and I'm like, wow, perfect. You know, this was already in my deck and everything else of that nature. And so many of you may recognize this quote: the time is always right to do the right thing. And being that of, you know, pursuing scholarly, doctorly type of things, I had to go back and look up exactly when that quote was given. And he's actually said this, and this is another great thing of when something is really important to a person, they say it over and over and over again. He actually said this in a variety of different ways in a variety of different audiences. But in this particular case, even though I lost my notes, I believe it was to Oberlin College when he gave a commencement, and I think he received a honorary doctorate. And I want to say it was either 1964 or 65 or somewhere in that time frame. I think it was 64 or somewhere in that time frame, I think. So the bottom line is that is something that he said. But I want to flip it just a little bit and leave you with this piece here, because I love the four, you know, tests, the four-way test. Is it true? Is it fair? Does it produce goodwill? Is it of benefit? And folks know that Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King, Reverend King, was locked up numerous times. On the 16th of April, in 1964, he wrote this letter while in the Birmingham jail. And I won't read the whole thing, but this is worth a read, right? I'll just read just a portion of it. And he says, "My dear fellow clergymen, while confined here in the Birmingham City Jail, I came across your recent statement calling my present activities unwise and untimely." Now, he goes on to talk about this in great detail, and even in small print, it's like 10 pages. So he had a lot to say about that. But again, I want to focus on the words, you know, unwise and untimely. So somewhere deep in this, he says this: we must use time creatively, in the knowledge that the time is always ripe to do right. Now is the time to make real the promise of democracy and transform our pending national eaglegy. I'm messing that word up. Sorry, I apologize. I'm going to skip it. In the creative psalm of brotherhood. And so back again to this quote here, the time is always right to do the right thing. I just encourage, I know the members of the Rotary, I feel comfortable and confident that they try to do the right thing. And I'm just so very, very proud of it. And I would just encourage you guys to just keep doing what you're doing, because we need that right now in our community, in our city, in our country, and in the world at large. So thank you very much. Questions that I can answer?
We did have a request. I think on the previous slide, you had some contact information.
Sure.
If you go back and show that again.
Okay, could do that. And you can get in touch with David Nicole. He should be at that number. And I can also, send it on to John. John can get it out to everybody. And then I'll send all the information about the Fort Wayne Black Chamber of Commerce also.
And I don't know if others have heard Dr. Lozambi speak. He is a wonderful presenter. I also am affiliated with the Alliance for Human Services, and we have at least 18 organizations that are human service organizations that have signed up to participate. You can participate in the United Front Initiative on the leadership level. You can have your frontline people participate. I don't know how many, there must be thousands.
There are thousands, yes.
Of individuals who are signed up to participate in some way. And I know the leaders of this think of this as a potential model for the rest of the country. In the way it's being rolled out, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't attain that kind of status with the people that are working on it and the number of people that have signed on.
And I would add that, I'm really proud of Fort Wayne. I'm not a native Hoosier. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, and I've been here since the early 80s, and this community has become my home. I'm very, very proud of the things that we've done, everything from our entrepreneurial spirit here to, the programs. And like I said, Leadership Fort Wayne, Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Even our chamber is truly a model. And the United Front is another model that is popping up, being recognized across the country for what we're doing. And I'll just even say, as an example, I was on a call the other day for the FBI, and they were actually having a speaker from Indianapolis area in their version of Fort Wayne United. So it's something else. It's Indianapolis United or something of that nature. But they don't have this piece. They don't have this piece. So we are truly setting the pace. And that's a good thing.
And I think the deadline is maybe January 15th to sign up. So you ought to reach out soon. Yeah, maybe it's the 25th, but.
Okay, I printed off some stuff and that might be right. Let's see if I have it here. I don't have it in front of me, but yeah, I think they're trying to go for the 18th or something like that, or maybe a little bit earlier than that for a sign up.
We are members through the Peace Committee. We're part of the United Front as a Rotary Club through our Peace Committee.
Great.
And speaking of being members, it's true that you don't have to be a Black-owned business to be a member of the Black Chamber of Commerce. And I know lots of folks are as a way of supporting your work.
Thank you, John. I should have covered that. right? Our chamber is diverse, right? Our board is diverse. You know, our members are diverse. It is truly diverse. Actually, Rick Dog got a chance to sit. He was on the chamber board, chamber committee for some period of time too. I mean, so that, yeah, we don't let the name scare you, but yeah, we're a diverse chamber. I think our issues, and this is a good talking point. You know, the issues that Greater Fort Wayne Inc. deals with and the issues that we deal with are just totally different, in the sense that a lot of the folks who are members of the Greater Fort Wayne Inc. are probably better established. And some of the smaller things that our members struggle through, like access to capital, are not necessarily issues that are being dealt with at the at GFW. So even as an example, you know, GFW has a very, very strong legislative wing. As I mentioned, I sit on the legislative committee. And so I'm not saying you shouldn't join GFW. I would say you can join both of them. But the issues that folks are coming to us for, looking for money to help get a business started, or business advice, or writing a business plan. I forgot to mention that. We do that too, helping folks with that. Those are things that we can help with, and we do. Businesses that really you're trying to get started are not full-time businesses. You know, they're operating out of somebody's home on a weekend or something like that. I mean, those are the businesses that we often see.
Cliff,
It's for Clifford.
how many Black-owned businesses would you say are in Fort Wayne, and what is the aggregate economic impact of that on Fort Wayne?
Yeah, so one of the reasons that we're going to do the survey is because we really do need to get a handle of that. But there are easily over 400 Black-owned businesses in town. The reason why I know, and I can go back again and thank Brad, is because we've been calling them, right? We've been calling it, and I know there's many of them that we do not know. And so I think really right now we have, I think the listing is short of that, you know, short of the 400 or so, but we probably have about 400 businesses already listed. The economic impact of that, I don't know precisely. I know that as a population, Blacks make up probably about 13 to 15% of our community. It's not as high as people think. Usually 17% is quoted oftentimes. It's not that high, but that's still a big thing. And then when you think of, as I mentioned before, when you think of the extra tax that they have to pay to get to the services that they need, you know, if you think that if we had a really functioning city all around in all quadrants, how that money could be used to benefit and keep the economic engine going.
Clifford, there was a question in the comment section asking when that business directory will be out. You said
we're scheduled to be out here in another couple of weeks in January, is the target to try to get that out there. But we're gonna do twofold time. So the first one will come out, and then we're gonna do another run mid-year, because we know that the last one we did was over 5 years ago, and it was probably about 20 something pages, maybe somewhere around that neighborhood. This one will be bigger. And so people will actually need to see it and say, okay, I see the product, now I want to be in it. And so we're planning to do 2 runs.
other questions for Clifford.
Well, hey, if not, I just want to thank again all of the friends and faces that I was able to see again via Zoom, and make new friends and things of that nature. I just want to thank you. And also, Dave, thanks for taking some time out of the sunny area of the Carolinas to come hang out with me again.
Unfortunately, it's not sunny today, but it will be soon again.
Well, again,
Just thank all my friends, my neighbors, the Verleys. That you know, it's just great to see everybody, and just thank you.